This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by the St. Johns River Water Management District. And now, oyster stuffing's worst nightmare, J.P. Shadrick.
You know it. It is going to be a big week, and welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. And a big 2 hours ahead here on Jaguars Happy Hour and the Doug Pederson Show. Week 11 coming up. The Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars at Everbank Stadium this Sunday. The Jags moving past the blowout loss to the 49ers this past Sunday. Back-to-back division games coming up, and then 3 straight in the AFC North. So we'll have a pretty good idea in early December where this team stands. The Doug Pederson Show at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll hear from the Jaguars head coach in studio, and Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District, Florida's water. It's worth saving. On 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, JP.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Well, it was so funny today.
The energy, I liked it.
Well, I mean, it's
time saving the water, and I like the energy that you announced my name with. It's good.
Well, whatever I can do to help the ball.
That's the first time you put that same amount of energy that you do with the sponsor into my name. I liked it.
We got 2 hours of this. Get ready. It's only just begun.
Good.
Are you past the blowout loss to the 49ers personally, Logs?
No.
You're not?
No.
Is this team?
No. Look, when you lose by 31 and what a great opportunity to show kind of on a national stage what your team is about, and it's at home where you haven't played particularly well. That stings, and I think that a game like that, I think if you're a player, and I'm not a player anymore, but I mean that lingers, and it's not going to go away until you have something positive to replace that feeling with, and hopefully that positive feeling is a big win against Tennessee, a division opponent against home, who has been your division rival for many years.
Jaguars, at least during the Doug Pederson era, have fared well the game after blowout losses. So in games following a 10-plus point loss, since Doug Pederson's been the head coach here, the Jags are 3-0 in the next game, and they've averaged 29 points per game. So their bounce-back ability is there. A lot of that has to do with quarterback play in those bounce-back games. A lot.
And the game that really stands out in my mind, if you go back to last year, the game at Detroit, and you got your rear end kicked. Okay, then the next week you go to Nashville to face these same Titans. And I thought Trevor Lawrence in that game arguably had his best game of the year, besides the comeback in the playoff in the second half, which was just, otherworldly. But that game against Tennessee, he was on the money. His decision-making was fantastic. He was competitive. He had his eyes down the field the entire time. At the end of the game, there was that little kind of a scuffle, I think, at the end of that ball game, and Trevor's pointing up at the scoreboard to the Titan defenders. That's the kind of Trevor Lawrence that I want to see this week, and that's the kind of Trevor Lawrence that I want to see the remainder of this year. He's got to raise his level of play, because what we saw against the 49ers, that's not good Trevor, okay? You want to see good Trevor. That wasn't good Trevor against the 49ers.
And he said it. It's one of the worst games in his career last week, and I don't think many would argue with that. He was the first to say it. Referencing that game in Tennessee last year, it was 368 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 30 of 42 passing, and Evan Ingram was the major target that day.
Yeah, and I don't think the stats really – because there's a feel from watching that game, and I remember it happening live, and just the decision-making was impeccable, and it was quick, and it was the right decision, and he ran a little bit. I mean, there was a lot of things in that ball game that you really liked about his performance specifically, and that's the kind of performance that he needs to find again. Look, right now this offense is not playing well. Plain and simple. This offense is not playing well. This past game, Trevor didn't play well, but it wasn't all Trevor. The offensive line didn't play well. They didn't have a running game to lean on to take a little bit of pressure off.
And they were behind. They had to abandon it in the second half.
The defense did not give the offense extra opportunities like they had been doing. Special teams was not very good either. Okay, I know Doug Pederson talked this week or after the game said that special teams was okay, and I disagree with that. You know, you had the first punt of the game was a low liner by Logan Cook, which was like a 41-yard punt, and then to get an 8-yard return, that's a 33-yard net. That's not good enough. Now, that's not what you want your punter to do, a Pro Bowl level punter. And then you get the injury to Agnew. Christian Kirk is out there, and all of a sudden the ball lands and rolls down to the 1. That's got to be fielded by Christian in that situation. I think the ball bounced around in the teens, right, the lower teens somewhere on the field position. If you make that catch, then all of a sudden you don't get backed up at the 1. Now, they ended up coming out and getting a field goal drive, the only scoring drive of the game, but still got to be better than that.
So moving ahead, and we'll hear from Doug Pederson coming up, as we said on the Doug Pederson Show, 5 o'clock. We'll ask him this, but how do you approach it with the team? I mean, I'm sure he, in that first meeting on Monday, pretty much told it like it was, is my guess, knowing Doug Pederson.
Well, there's another way to tell it.
Right.
I mean, you got the facts are the facts, and there's some may think, okay, well, just burn the tape and forget about it and move forward. No, you've got to learn from the mistakes, and part of the mistakes, the big mistakes that the Jaguars have been making offensively, has been the giveaways, and it's not easy to fix that, okay, because you. As a defense, you preach and preach and preach and preach. Takeaways, ball awareness, where's it at? Punch it out, okay? Pressure the quarterback. Get him to make an errant throw. Come in with the strike. First guy in wrap, second guy in punch. I mean, there's all those emphasis that you can have on defense. And offensively, you probably do drills in practice. In fact, we watch practice today, and they do a drill there where all of the people that are skill position players go through the I guess you could say kind of like the gauntlet. They've got to go through bags, and they got people poking at them.
American Gladiators, the ending.
Yeah, it's all kinds of things where they're trying to knock the ball out, because that's been one of the biggest problems. They have 11 fumbles lost this year. And then Trevor, I think, is responsible for about 10 of the however many. Well, he's got the interceptions, picks, obviously.
And
6
4
picks,
fumbles.
and then 4 fumbles. So he's got 10 of the 17 giveaways on offense. He's got to be better too. So that's definitely got to be an emphasis, I think, for Doug Pederson and his offensive staff.
That's one side of the ball. Jags fans want customized Jaguars furniture for your home. Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. Zipchair, furniture for fans. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on 1010XL, 92.5 FM. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Jaguars defense last week, Christian McCaffrey was all over the place for San Francisco. Different style this week, and we'll dig deeper into what the Titans have to offer, but in just a little bit. But defensively, how are you feeling about them moving forward from last week? They didn't take the ball away last week.
Look, they weren't very good either.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, the offense wasn't good. The defense gave a season high, I think, 437 yards. They didn't get a takeaway. The entire offensive system with the 49ers, you knew exactly what it was based upon. It was based upon a lot of shifts in movement, and then they run the ball, and then everything is set up off of establishing the run. So you've wanted the Jaguars to establish their bully ball style of defense, stop the run, and Christian McCaffrey and his mates ended up averaging 5.5 yards a carry. That's not good enough. That's not bully ball. That's not the way the Jaguars play successful defense. And so that was disappointing. And then you had a couple instances where the ball is in the air and you can make a play on it. One of them where Purdy, the first drive, throws it back across the field, and you've got 2 guys that are in the neighborhood and they don't make a play. I give a lot of credit on that one to Ayuk, because he gave just a little subtle nudge to Tyson Campbell, who, by the way, did not play that well. Obviously, the hamstring was still a problem because he ended up leaving the game later in the game. But on that play, Ayuk gives him just a little nudge down low where the officials don't typically call the push, which was very smart by Ayuk. Just like George Kittle on the long pass where he got Devin Lloyd. A little subtle kind of push that is enough that it gave him an edge, but not enough to draw the yellow flag. And give credit to the 49ers. They came out ready to play. I think the Jaguars came out Maybe they were ready to play, but their performance was flat coming out. And that's the only thing that matters. Because a lot of people say, well, they weren't ready to play. I don't know. Maybe they were ready to play. And maybe the performance just didn't give them any kind of positive energy in the ball game. And then it just kind of snowballed in a negative way. But the bottom line is that the performance wasn't where it needed to be early in that ball game, and then the 49ers controlled the tempo throughout. It was a blowout.
Yeah, 7 offensive plays total combined between the teams. It's 7-0 49ers. A 3-and-out for the Jags, and then a 4-play touchdown drive. And the same thing again, 3-and-out, and then a field goal drive. And it's 10-0 at the bat of an eye, and it's an uphill climb all day long.
Well, and the defense gave up quite a bit of explosive plays. Brock Purdy was in rhythm.
That one to Kittle, though. I mean, Trayvon Walker's right there in his face. He had a hand on him, and he still completes it very last second.
Well, it's
so close.
It's man coverage, cover one, and then you have a safety, and I believe it was Cisco that bites up on a route. So, look, if the completion happens to Kittle – typically on man coverage single high safety, that there's a safety that stays back deep, and the reason he stays back deep is to try to prevent a house call play. Okay, so if you got Cisco back there, maybe he can come over, make a tackle, and then line up and play some more downs, maybe hold him to a field goal. And there was no help. And Devin Lloyd ends up stumbling, and George Kittle, amazing player.
Oh, yeah.
Really good football player. I think one of the best 2 tight ends in the National Football League. George Kittle and Kelsey, the best. Okay, so when you're dealing with the best, you got to be at your best. And Devin Lloyd, he got Devin on that one.
Certainly did.
Good players. I mean, good players make plays, Yeah, it's a good
really
team. Good team, and their offense, their entire offensive success and team success is based off of them establishing Christian McCaffrey, and they were able to do that. And the Jaguars were off balance in its entirety. The first drive, McCaffrey, they ended up coming out play action, and then had a couple handoffs to McCaffrey, and then all of a sudden they hit that play to George Kittle, that was down the Jaguars sideline where he was all alone. Jaguars shifted on a motion, kind of got caught out flanked, and Kittle's out there waving his arms, going, throw it to me, I'm wide open. And Purdy just lost it over there, and he's uncontested with the catch, and then down the sideline for 10 yards before there's even a Jaguar defender in the area.
The Jaguars-Titans matchup this week is delivered by CSX, How Tomorrow Moves, and when we come back, we will figure out a tackling plan for Derrick Henry. I say we, you, Lageman, will figure out a tackling plan.
Yeah, that's not an easy plan to figure.
They've had plenty of chances to try over the years, even last year.
He still is the king.
Seems like it.
He is still the king.
We'll get into it when we return on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Hey Jags fans, are you tired of roof leaks raining on your parade? Don't worry, Universal Roof and Contracting has got you covered. Their expert team of roofers will get your roof back in the game so you can focus on cheering on the Jags. Locally owned and operated, they've serviced Florida homeowners for over 30 years. Visit universalroof.com to schedule your free estimate today. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CVC 1258484.
What's Bright Friday? It's the Black Friday event you won't want to miss. And it's happening now at your local Ford dealer. Brighten your holidays with great offers on a new Ford, like Ford F-150, the truck at the top of everyone's list. Ford Explorer, an SUV with room for all your presents and passengers. And if you want big holiday thrills, there's the Bronco Sport SUV. But hurry, Ford's Bright Friday event ends November 30th. See your local Ford dealer today.
Jaguars fans, huddle up for the best defense against expensive car repairs, CarShield. Score big with the nation's #1 automotive protection company, CarShield. They offer affordable plans that cover over 6,000 parts and systems in your car, truck, or SUV. Don't miss any Jaguars action this season with a car breakdown. Call the MVPs at CarShield for their best coverage ever. Call 800-471-1223. 800-471-1223. Go Jags!
Don't get sacked by a no-name propane rookie this football season, Jacksonville. Draft an all-star and switch to AmeriGas, the official propane provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the homes and businesses who know it was always the Jags. Show off your Duval pride at your next tailgate with a Jaguars grill tank from AmeriGas. To find an AmeriGas exchange location near you or to order a propane fill-up for your home or business, visit AmeriGas.com/Jacksonville-Jaguars or call 844-PRO-JAGS.
Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday, Week 11 coming up. Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. J.P. Shadrick and the Jaguars' first ever free agent signing, Jeff Lageman. Is that right? That's true, right?
No. They had.
I was trying to build up your intro.
No, I appreciate the attempt, but they actually had the original 10, which signed essentially at the very beginning of that calendar year '95, and there were 10 guys that essentially didn't have a job in the regular season of 1994.
Oh, okay, got it.
And so they were called the original 10.
Got it. But you were the first of...
I was one of the first free agents that signed.
The big wave.
Yeah. But the original 10, Greg Huntington was a guy that's still here in town that was part of the original 10 that stuck on the roster. You know, we called him the Mangler. He was a part of that, you know.
Saw a bunch of those guys this past weekend.
There was Jason, I'm trying to remember Jason's last name, defensive end that ended up making the roster. So a couple of those guys ended up making the active roster that were a member or a part of that original 10.
I'm going to keep trying throughout the next 2 hours to build up an intro for you, each and every segment.
That's
coming
great.
back.
Great, I
We'll
appreciate
see if I
that.
run across one that you like or that's accurate. That
All
would
right,
be helpful.
good.
Accurate's somewhat helpful. Not necessary, but somewhat
that's okay.
helpful.
You can sugarcoat a few things. I'm okay with that.
It's okay. Embellish a little bit. Okay. We're on 1010XL 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, and Jaguars YouTube on Jaguars Happy Hour. And the Jags get the Tennessee Titans. Of course, the Jags swept the Titans last year up in Nashville, and then here on Week 18 to wrap up the AFC South title. Derrick Henry is still on the football team, of course, and still putting up numbers. Maybe not the astronomical, big-time rushing, leading the league numbers, but he's right there near the top, in fact. He's not far off. He's second in rushing yards. He's fourth in attempts. And you know what he's going to be. You know what this game is going to be when Derrick Henry lines up with his hands on his knees behind the quarterback. It's a physical style, and you better hit him early and often.
Yeah, it's a little different this year with the Tennessee Titans because in years past it's been so reliant on him, Derrick Henry, and this year it's a little bit different. You know, the offensive coordinator, Tim Kelly, it almost seems like they have a little bit of an identity crisis, okay, where they're not sure, do we fully commit to being a run-first offense or do we run that college – read option kind of stuff that we can do. And so Derrick Henry's carries are a little bit down off of the norm. Okay. He actually has less carries than ETN by 12, which is surprising because, look, Derrick Henry's been a workhorse forever, but he's still effective. And he comes out of the ball game. They have a draft pick that was drafted out of Tulane, a third-round pick, Tajay Spears, who plays a lot, and he also has taken some of those carries away from Derrick Henry. He has 44. But Derrick Henry, if with a rookie quarterback, could you ever have a better running back situation than having Derrick Henry in the backfield?
Yeah, solid.
I mean, it's just, he's going to take a lot of pressure off. If the games stay close and if they can get Derrick Henry rolling, I'm sure that they will stick with that plan. And with Will Levis, who is their second-round pick, first pick of the second round this past spring, the rookie quarterback out of Kentucky, who many people thought was going to be a first-round pick, he will be getting his fourth start. I guess they've committed to him. I can't imagine that Ryan Tannehill's very happy right now. Rumor is that he might have requested a trade. I don't know if that's true or not.
Too late now. I mean, guess what? So, I mean, they drafted a guy that high for a reason. It's not like they're going to.
Yeah, he's going to.
At some point, he's going to get out there.
Well, Tannehill
especially if you're not playing well.
Tannehill had an ankle injury, and that took him out of the lineup. That gave the Titans the opportunity to get the rookie in there, and he ended up starting. I think his first game was against the Atlanta Falcons, and then
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and he had a great game, and he found DeAndre Hopkins, and he was really good that game. And the last 2 games haven't gone so well for him. So this is, I think, a great opportunity for the Jaguars to get right, because the Tennessee Titans last year had by far the worst offensive line in football, which is amazing that Derrick Henry still had the year that he did last year with behind that offensive line. This year they've addressed the offensive line a little bit. It's not as bad, but it's still not great.
Who on the defensive side for the Jaguars needs to step out and have a big game, a big stand-up performance? I know everybody does as a whole, but give me one guy you think should or could stand out.
Okay, when you think of bully ball, the style of defense that the Jaguars play, what's one of the first big guy that you think about on the Jaguars front?
I'm thinking the big, nasty, ugly guys in the middle, right, on the defensive line.
Right, Big Roy Robertson Harris. Okay, what's he got on his chest?
A C.
A C, okay, captain. So when you're a captain, okay, and you've fallen or have fallen off one week of your bully ball game, you need to get back to that bully ball and establish that again. And the captain needs to be at the forefront of that. I think Big Roy's got to have a dominant game. You got a first-round pick in Skoronski out of Northwestern, who's the starting left guard of the Tennessee Titans, who they thought or they believe he can be their Quentin Nelson. Okay, he's not playing like Quentin Nelson did when he was a rookie. The other guard on the other side is kind of to be determined, because they're probably going to end up moving the starting guard from last week, which was Dylan Radins. They're going to move him to left tackle. Could they get Daniel Brunskill, who they signed in free agency from the 49ers, back in the starting lineup because he was inactive with an injury? If they do, then Big Roy and his merry men need to whoop him. In the center, okay, I love him because he's like a little bulldog. And when I mean little, I mean little. Okay, this is a undrafted guy who the last couple of years for the Titans played intermittently and was mostly at guard. They taught him how to snap. Now he's at center, probably the best position just because of his size. His name is Aaron Brewer. Aaron Brewer from Texas State, 6'1", 295.
Oh, wow. Fire plug.
Total fire plug.
Wow.
And I think 295 might be a little bit inflated.
Probably.
Yes. Have you ever seen many 6'1", 295 guys walking around?
Yeah, not often.
Okay, they're pretty thick, right? If they
right.
were 6'1" and 295. He's not that thick. I don't think he's 295. I think he might be 275. For real. I mean, I think that's what you remember back when you were playing Little League football or high school, and you get ready to play, at least this was my day, get ready to play an opponent, and you go and you want to look at the heights and the weights of all the kids that you're getting ready to face. And, of course, you would embellish it. Every Little League in high school embellished height and weight unless you had some kind of weight restriction based on positions.
Well, the colleges do it too, by the way.
Of course.
You don't get the real one until they show up to the Senior Bowl.
If Aaron Brewer weighs 295, I'll buy him a steak dinner.
And he might get there if you keep buying him steak dinners. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM. Jaguars Happy Hour, JP Shadrick and Jeff Lageman. Hey, the other side of the ball, Jaguars offense. There's been a lot of talk this week about the horizontal nature of the Jaguars attack, and Doug Pederson even talked about it. Yeah, maybe we need to push it down the field a little more at times, make those throws, do some things. Are there opportunities against this Titans defense to do that?
Yes, but you got to block folks up front first. Okay, the Titans back end is not as good as it used to be, in my opinion. got weakened this year because you traded away a two-time All-Pro guy in Kevin Byard, who really good football player. They tried to get him to take a pay cut going into the year, and he, of course, said no. And so they keep him on the roster. They traded him to the Philadelphia Eagles, ended up picking up the safety Terrell Edmonds, who was a Hokie, by the way, Virginia Tech guy.
Speaking of upgrades of all upgrades, from the Titans to the Eagles for
Byard. I mean, good for him.
Jeez.
Good for him.
Wow.
Kevin Byard's a good football player.
Yeah.
And he's been a really good football player for the Tennessee Titans for a long time. He's got
He wreaked havoc on Blake Bortles a few times. I know
ton of interceptions in his career. So they ship him off and get Terrell Edmonds, and then get a couple late-round picks for him next spring, which, okay, I get it. You're trying to rebuild a roster that has a lot of holes. Okay, so Rand Carthon, who is the new general manager of the Tennessee Titans, probably could have gotten a little bit more, I think, but nonetheless, he worked that deal. So they're not as good in the back end. The linebackers are not as good as last year. The guys up front, I think, are just as good, if not better. And that's a pretty good front. Jeffrey Simmons being the best guy. He's leading the way. I'm a big fan of Danico Autry.
He's still getting numbers.
He's had a great career. I mean, you're talking about a 10-year guy. Looking at his numbers, 53.5 career sacks. I mean, that's a great pro career. Still in year 10. I mean, so he's got more that he can add to that. Tier Tart, the big nose tackle / defensive lineman, a good player. Pico is a good football player. Kyle Pico. Who did he play for before? I'm trying to remember. He got the big hair going out the back of the helmet. Good player. I mean, big, strong player. So they're good up front. Harold Landry, who has been a very good edge rusher. You also have the guy who reestablished the culture in Jacksonville, Arden Key. I say that tongue-in-cheek, of course, because he would tell you that he was the one who was responsible for establishing the Jaguars culture. But, I mean, they're good up front. And here's the thing, JP. Jaguars' offensive line did not play well last week.
No, they did not.
And did not play well against a really good front.
That happens from sometimes.
Okay, this Titans team, there's not a Nick Bosa. There's not a Chase Young. Okay.
Eric Armstead?
They got an Eric Armstead because Jeffrey Simmons could be that.
Yeah.
Okay. They who's the other defensive tackle that wore out Walker Little?
Yeah.
Drawing a blank. I got it right here. Because Javon Hargrave.
Oh, yeah, Hargrave.
Javon Hargrave, good football player. I mean, big, strong dude. So the Jaguars struggled with those 5 guys. Kinlaw I put in there in the mix as well because they went 5 down on the first play, and it looked like the Jaguars were like, oh, my God, there's 5 down.
Wait a minute. This wasn't on tape.
Yeah, it didn't look good. That's what I think Trevor talked in the game. He said, they came out with some unscripted looks. That was the 5 down.
Like right out of the gate. Like that
right out of the gate. Send a message. Boy, here we come. We're going to line up 5 down, and if you can block us, good luck because we're coming. We're going to play a little bit depleted coverage. So the quarterback's got to have patience. He's got to keep his eyes down the field. Offensive line has to be good. And none of that happened.
Plenty more ahead on this matchup, the Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. Kai Stevens joins us in studio, Jaguars reporter. We'll discuss her off-the-field conversation today and Jaguars All Access Television tonight. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
If you're facing cancer, you want a dedicated team working for you. At Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, we only focus on cancer. And we partner with one of the largest cancer centers in the world. So you'll have a specialized treatment plan created by our experienced and highly trained oncologists and surgeons, collaborating with one of the country's leading cancer centers. Best of all, we're in North Florida with locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Appointments at baptistmdanderson.com.
Unlock your potential at the University of North Florida. A top public university with more than 100 majors, UNF is number one among state schools with the highest percentage of graduates employed in Florida. Affordable tuition, programs in high-demand fields, and faculty who care. Swoop into your future at UNF. Visit unf.edu to learn more. Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a Zip Chair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
What's Bright Friday? It's the Black Friday event you won't want to miss. And it's happening now at your local Ford dealer. Brighten your holidays with great offers on a new Ford, like Ford F-150, the truck at the top of everyone's list. Ford Explorer, an SUV with room for all your presents and passengers. And if you want big holiday thrills, there's the Bronco Sport SUV. But hurry, Ford's Bright Friday event ends November 30th. See your local Ford dealer today.
Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water. It's worth saving. JP Shadrick with the best deer hunter this side of Fargo, Jeff Lageman. We're doing different intros for Jeff each segment tonight. Kai Stevens is with us now. Hi. Kai.
I am. Thank
How
you.
are you?
I feel very welcome.
If you think of one for Jeff, let me know. We can get it
Okay,
later.
we'll
or
brainstorm
whatever.
in the next break.
Yeah, we're working on it. I'm going to go for 3 right now.
Fargo, North Dakota, or Fargo, Georgia?
It's a big difference, right?
Big difference.
Big difference.
Uh-oh.
I'll let you decide. Hi, Kai.
Hello.
Here are the Jaguars, still in first place, 6-3, first place in the division, 3 seed in the AFC. Outside the building, the sky is falling after last week's performance. Inside, it feels like, yeah, they're embarrassed, but they're moving forward here.
Yeah, I think the dreary weather has us kind of with a dreary attitude for a little while, but definitely in the building they've turned the page. Of course, this is a huge game this week and next week in Houston, so that's definitely got you quickly refocused, because if you don't, things are going to spiral very quickly from here. Plus the Titans, I mean, you always get up for those games.
You better, Logs.
Oh,
Against Tennessee.
look, the reality is that even though we look at the Titans right now as kind of a team in rebuilding mode, and that this is a winnable game, because I think most people are of the opinion of that, because of, you look at the Titans record, you look at they have a rookie quarterback, you look at they got a new general manager, they're rebuilding their roster, they traded away Kevin Byard. It's still the Tennessee Titans. Okay? It's still a division opponent. And that makes me nervous because it's the Titans. Okay, and last year, the last game of the year, what did we think about the last regular season game of the year? There's no way that we can lose that game, right? Quarterback just brought in
So many injuries.
See,
that game was scary.
See, Kai comes in last year, and the Jaguars sweep the Titans first year in. So you're like, oh, this is the way I'm kidding, of course, but it's not how it always happens around here.
Okay.
And he's, first era of that. I mean, he was involved in the
Going all the way
90s.
back to
days.
Jeff Fisher saying
That's
that
why.
Jacksonville is their second home.
Oh, we don't
goes-
like that.
Goes back a
Because
while.
in 1999, when the Jaguars were 14-2 and the number 1 seed, the Titans beat them 3 times.
3 times in 1 year is difficult to do.
Not easy.
Not impossible,
And
apparently,
that
because it
came the
happens.
combat.
Yes.
That came the combat.
So, division games. Then you got the AFC North 3 times in a row. And we'll find out in the first couple weeks of December if this team has what it takes or not.
I mean, these were the circle on your calendar games coming up, right? So to get these divisional games kind of behind you and then really, obviously the game against the 49ers was not what you wanted to see from this team. They're Jaguars we thought were in that echelon, and they are not there yet. But hopefully if you can get some momentum going, figure things out in these divisional games, then, and I don't want to discount the Titans or the Texans because those are not going to be easy games, but you can figure something out. Then when you're going up against the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns to a certain degree, you'll kind of see what you have and what this playoff run might look like.
If you don't get a win in this game, what will be one of the centerpieces of conversation after this game? Just hypothetically speaking here.
After the game?
This game?
Yeah. Quarterback. He's got to play
CJ.
well.
Yeah.
You lost
Quarterback versus quarterback next week, but yes, you got
lost to C.J. Stroud
Right.
earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. If you lose to Will Levis, another rookie in the division this year, I mean, wouldn't a lot of the conversation go to Trevor's getting beat by rookies in the division? What? C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, what? We can't beat rookie quarterbacks with our generational quarterback? What? Just saying. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen.
It sounds like you're saying
I
that
am
might
not
be the
saying that's gonna
conversation
happen.
if that were to be the case.
I am very confident in this football team this week because of what I see on the film with the Tennessee Titans. But I will tell you, again, it's a divisional game, and it's the Tennessee Titans. Enough said. That's all you need to know.
But the quarterback's got to play better. I mean,
He's got to play better.
That's clear.
He started that game off. The first play of the ball game, which you run a naked bootleg, and they're lined up in 5 down. 5 down is 5 defensive linemen. They've all got their hand on the ground. They're not telling you anything but we're bringing 5, and so we're playing a depleted coverage. Block us. Naked bootleg, Trevor's out of the pocket. You got Calvin Ridley on the boundary. Got to throw it. Doesn't get thrown. Here comes Warner, the linebacker, because Evan Ingram stays in to help block those 5 guys. Warner just, here he comes, going after Trevor, pressures him because Trevor's late to the throw with Ridley. Incomplete. 2nd down, you get a little completion. 3rd down, Trevor peeked at the rush. If he stands tall in the pocket on the 3rd down, 3rd play of the ball game, you got Brenton Strange wide open right in front of you for a gain that you move the chains, 1st down. And that was kind of, I guess you could say, a microcosm of the game for Trevor. His feet were happy. The clock was ticking fast in his brain. His eyes didn't always stay down the field. And that's like the complete opposite of the Trevor Lawrence that I remember in last year at Tennessee, the first Titans game, which he was lights out good.
How hard is it to undo that, though? Because it's the trust factor to a certain degree, and he can say he trusts them, but by body language alone, you can tell he doesn't trust the protection he has around him. So how can you get that back?
Well, for him, he's gotten it back in a week.
Okay.
You go back to last year, the performance that he had in London against Denver. That interception.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Jeez, 1st and goal at the 1. Oh, boy.
You come back the next week, okay, and I think that was a home game, and you're playing the Raiders. Now, you got a little bit of an assist from Derek Carr in that ball game because he was so bad. If Derek Carr had done anything in the second half, the Jaguars don't win that ball game. But Trevor leads them back from 17 points down and played really well. Baltimore game played really well. So he was able to turn it around. And then you go to last year, another example, which is probably the closest comparison to this week. Last year, you go on the road to Detroit and you get hammered.
Yeah.
What was that score? 44 to 10?
It was 40 to 14.
40 to 14.
That's right. Trevor got dinged up in that game, remember?
That's
the game
right.
He ran off and came back in. Finished the game.
Yeah.
Right?
But that was a thumping. I mean, that was a thumping. And then the next week you go to Nashville, and Trevor was unbelievable. The decision-making, the competitiveness, how he went through his reads, it was arguably that was the best performance by Trevor to date was that game. In that game I said, we got a franchise guy. That's the game I said that to myself. We got a franchise guy. because that was a franchise guy performance. And he had quite a few of them that followed after that. This year, I would say a couple. He's had solid games, and the one game where you just go franchise performance was probably the Buffalo game. He was really good in that ball game, and that, by the way, was the only 300-yard passing game that he had this year. The offense has been clunky though, but he hasn't had. Go to last year. All those moments that he had late in the year. This is the time where he starts to need to show some of those moments. He's been consistent, solid, but I want to see we got a franchise guy moment. You know what I mean? Where you go, oh, yeah, we got a guy.
This would be the time to pull that out of the hat, that's for sure. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jaguars. We're on 1010XL at 92.5 FM. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Kai Stevens in studio with us. Off the field conversation today. You record one late in every week. Who did you have today?
We had the newest Jaguar, Ezra Cleveland, with us today. So learn a little bit about him and how he's getting assimilated and how everything's going. He seems to be picking things up really quickly. He worked with the offensive line coach here, Phil Rauscher, was in Minnesota with him for the first 2 years of his career. So they have that comfortability and then just kind of picking things up. And from what he said, he feels very comfortable with what we've got going on.
Doug Pederson talked about getting him some time, right? And getting him some reps and getting him, how does that happen in the middle of a season? And what does that even mean coming ahead, right? At some point, he's been the starting guard in Minnesota. Is he going to see the playing field during games? How's that going to happen?
I think a lot of that depends on Walker Little. How is Walker Little playing today, tomorrow, Sunday, the following game? Walker Little didn't have a very good game. And the reality is you stack another game like that on, and here's the thing. You got a guy this week that could do that to you again, and Jeffrey Simmons.
Yep.
Okay, T.R. Tart, two big, strong dudes. And that's the part, that Walker Little will have something to say, and he will make the determination of what the future of Ezra Cleveland holds. Because the reality is that if Walker Little plays well, Ezra Cleveland will just become a valuable backup, and then, down the road, we'll see what happens. But if Walker Little falters, I don't think that they hesitate to go to an Ezra Cleveland. Now, maybe not in game, like I say, this week.
I'll see how the game is going. If it's just a blow-up or something.
I think that if it would take a poor performance by Walker and throughout the game, and then all of a sudden you're not winning, and you're like, okay, we've seen enough. Okay, but that's extreme. I don't envision that happening. I think the more time that you get Ezra to get comfortable, the better off for him and for the offense. But here's the thing. He's a starting caliber left guard in this league, period.
Yeah. He was starting for Minnesota. That's why. When can we see that interview?
That'll be out Saturday morning, I think. They put it on Jaguars.com and YouTube.
Jaguars.com. Free website. And the Jaguars YouTube channel.
He's long, too. He's built like a tackle.
And he told us on All Access he's a left guard. Like, in his mind, that's his position.
Which is what you want. And the reason we asked him that on All Access last week was because he was a left tackle or a tackle at Boise State, which, JP, you're a big fan of that blue turf thing.
Yeah.
He was telling us about how they find feathers on the field.
Ducks like land thinking it's water.
Water.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's not good for the duck.
Yeah, it's kind of a crash landing.
Worse for the groundskeeper. Tonight, Jaguars All Access TV at Strings Sports Brewery. Who you got tonight?
Christian Kirk will be back with us.
All right.
Yes. He's always good with us, so it should be a good one.
He's always good with everybody. I like
Christian.
No,
he's very accountable, has good answers, and
there's a lot to talk about this week on offense, right?
I'm sure
you guys are going to grill him, right?
Well, we're going to ask him about the giveaways. I mean, that's unfortunately, that's part of the job when you have a tough outing, and Christian was a part of that tough outing because he fumbled the ball at 6. You got to be able to be accountable and talk about it, and everybody wants to know, how do you fix it? And so we'll ask that question. How do you fix it, Christian?
And
How do you get the offense to feel like it's got some rhythm? How do you get smooth and not clunky? How do you find the rhythm that you had last year?
How do you push the ball down the field? All that stuff is in play tonight on at String Sports Brewery. Jaguars All Access, 7 o'clock, Fox 30. Be there.
I'll be there. Kyle will be there. Are you going to be there?
I will not be there.
No? I figured you might be in the peanut gallery having a beer.
Too cool.
Not tonight.
Not tonight?
Some other night.
We got a good game on tonight, too, by the way. Thursday Night Football.
Oh, yeah, Bengals.
Game of the week.
Wow.
Bengals-Ravens.
Wow.
You kidding me?
Big game.
I mean, JP,
Visual
belly
game.
up at the bar at Strings and have a beer, watch the game.
Kai, we'll see
Post
you.
happy hour. Let's do it.
Yeah, we might have. Okay, you might have talked. We'll see. We've got another hour and 15 to figure it out. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving.
Have you noticed? It's raining a lot in our area lately. That means you can give your sprinklers a break and save some money in the process. Lawns only need water up to twice a week, and that can come from rain. So before you run your sprinklers, remember to watch the weather and wait to water. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, CSI Companies partners with leading organizations across the country to deliver workforce solutions. As a proud sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI crafts personalized operations to fuel the success of businesses, both big and small. Whether it's finding the right talent for a job or seamlessly managing a project from start to finish, CSI has over 3 decades of experience in getting the job done. This is your workforce solutions reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com.
Jaguars fans, Everbank is building its future on the partnership and the performance you know and trust. Take advantage of high-yield savings solutions with money market, online savings, CDs, and more. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars today for your financial advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguar sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguar sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguar sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Cheering on the Jags from the brand new Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit Jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions.
Jaguars Happy Hour brought to you by the St. Johns River Water Management District. Florida's water, it's worth saving. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube on this Thursday. Ahead of the Titans-Jaguars matchup in Week 11. The Jags at 6-3, the Titans the other way around. The division getting tight, of course, with Houston playing better football with good quarterback play, and those two, the Jags and the Texans, will tangle next week down at NRG Stadium in Houston. The Sunday after Thanksgiving. Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health and the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Same exact report today for the Jaguars as yesterday. That means wide receiver Jamal Agnew with a shoulder/rib injury now officially did not practice yesterday or today. It sounds like that could be a little bit. Cornerback Tyson Campbell with a hamstring issue has not practiced this week, and that's not trending the right way.
No, that's concerning.
Anton Harrison, offensive lineman, back issue limited both days. Defensive lineman Roy Robertson Harris with an ankle issue limited both days this week. Parker Washington's window to practice opened off a knee injury. He's limited Wednesday and Thursday, but that is trending the right direction. And Zay Jones with a knee issue limited Wednesday, Thursday. That also seems to be maybe trending the right direction on the field for Zay to go. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And then, of course, the designations come down at the end of the practice week, and then game day, see who's up and down. But that's the injury report for the Jaguars. It's a long list for Tennessee, Logs. 2 players did not practice this week. Treylon Burks, wide receiver with a concussion. Andre Dillard, a tackle with a concussion. Neither one of them has practiced this week.
Well, and real quick with those guys, Treylon Burks was not active their past game against Tampa, and that's not trending in the right direction.
No.
And Dillard, is it Dillard or Dillard?
Sure.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
The left tackle, he sustained a concussion in this past game, which they had Nicholas Petit-Frere, who was also a left tackle for them that started a game previously in the year. He went on IR at the beginning of the week, so their options, if Dillard can't play, are somewhat limited. So they would more than likely kick out one of the guards to play tackle.
Daniel Brunskill with an ankle issue limited both days, a guard. Corner Anthony Kendall did not practice today, was limited yesterday with a hamstring. Sean Murphy-Bunting, thumb issue, limited both days. A couple other guys full. Luke Gifford was limited today. Linebacker Ryan Tannehill has practiced both days full with the ankle issues. And that's about it. Everybody else is either full or has not practiced because of rest. So there are your Tennessee Titans. The Jaguars entertain them this week, and we'll see. That's the injury report presented by Baptist Health. Tailgate with Tony coming up this Sunday, November 19th, ahead of the Titans-Jaguars matchup. Baselli and Jags Legends, 2 different levels of all-inclusive tickets available benefiting the Baselli Foundation at Met Park. Visit BaselliFoundation.com for more and use the code Tony71 for $71 tickets. That's going to be a blast.
That's pretty creative, Tony71.
Yes, absolutely it is. And so check it out, BaselliFoundation.com. Live music, all kind of things going on Sunday before the game starts at 10 o'clock. You got plenty of time. It shuts down right around 12:30 or so in time to walk into the game and be ready.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Do they got food there?
They do. They've got food and everything.
All right.
Food, music.
Nice.
Drinks.
Nice. They got a shuttle service?
You can just walk. It's at Met Park, I think.
I was thinking about getting a shuttle service to go over there.
Are you going to go?
I'm going to try to go.
I don't know if I can get over and back because,
it's not easy.
I'd have to be there right at 10 and then leave at like 10:30. Is that even enough?
Yeah, and here's the one thing. On game day, you kind of have a rhythm. Things that you usually do, in preparation.
This is for the foundation. This is for the kids.
Yeah, I know. And I'm all for it,
Yeah. But I'm with you. Like, hey,
Hey,
then you get you're stuck in traffic. You never know these days with the traffic out here.
Well, I mean, I don't know about being stuck in traffic, human traffic.
There's a lot of that, too, these days. I mean, the game, I think, is sold out. There's standing room tickets being sold.
Oh, it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Big divisional game.
I know that Doug Pederson, that's one of the things we're going to ask him is, the one thing you always want to do as a football team is win at home. And this team is 1-3 at the bank, and that's not where you want to be. Typically when I remember going all the way back to college, high school, when you start to list your goals as a football team, one of the first goals is win your games at home. Okay, and then because you have an advantage, you're in your place, it's your fans, and you got an advantage from the crowd noise, everything else. And so you want to win those games at home. And so far, not the results that this team wants.
It's the last home divisional game of the season. How about that? It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Well, and this is a big one. This is a big one because it's a division game, and if all of a sudden you falter, it makes the Houston game. Oh, I mean, a lot of attention would be put on that, and it's look, it's going to be a big game regardless. But can you imagine if you falter against Tennessee, then you go to Houston, with Houston having an opportunity maybe of taking the division lead?
Yeah, because if they win, Jags lose, it would be the same record, but they would have the tiebreaker, so they'd be in first place going into the matchup next week.
That's hard to get. I mean,
and then their schedule. I mean, look at the Houston schedule coming up. Arizona this week at home. Jaguars in Houston next week, and then Broncos in Houston the week after that. 3 straight home games.
Yeah.
At the Jets and then at the Titans.
And the Jets might be completely in the tank by then.
You never know, right? And the Browns had quarterback change, so their defense is really good. And then the Titans again, and then at the Colts. So that's
the Browns are going to be a challenge regardless, just because their defense is so good.
But the next
Miles
5,
Garrett, have you watched him?
Oh, he's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
He is so good. I mean, I'm talking like freakazoid good. He's probably going to break, most likely going to break the single season sack record. How many has he got right now?
I don't know.
Man, I think he's on pace to break it. I mean, obviously it's a 17-game season now, which doesn't kind of compare apples to apples. But I mean, this guy, I'll never forget watching him when he was coming out of college. He was just, you were just amazed at how athletic and strong he is.
He's got 11 already. 11 sacks.
11 sacks in how many games?
In what, 9 games, right?
I mean, have they played 9 in Cleveland?
I don't know. Hang on. Yes, 9 games.
Okay, 11 and 9. So he's going to be right there getting close to it now, having a chance.
22 and a half.
22, I believe it is.
22 and a half.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Strahan and T.J. Watt.
When you watch Myles Garrett, he does things athletically that are amazing. I mean, sometimes, like a lot of times when you try to describe a guy, you say, okay, he's really strong and really physical, and then, hey, the other guy, he might be athletic and nimble. Myles Garrett puts all of that together in one package, all of it. And he is special.
Got a few weeks to figure that out because that's on the schedule.
When is that game?
Let's see.
Which is one of the
4 weeks away.
One of the amazing Jaguar games. What, Baltimore?
No, we got, let's see, here's the order of operations. This week, Tennessee, at Houston, home against the Bengals, at Cleveland.
Bengals, Cleveland.
And then Baltimore after that.
First of all, C.J. Stroud, Bengals, Cleveland, amazing games, okay? Baltimore, an amazing game. Some people think that's the best team in the AFC right now.
I'm not arguing.
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not
arguing.
taking. I'm not taking that crown off.
You said right now,
Kansas City yet.
You see the way they played the other week?
Have you seen how many rings that Mahomes has got on his fingers?
You said right now. You said right now, and right now, Baltimore is.
They're
right
playing
there.
well.
That's right. All right, so Doug Pederson shows next. Jaguars head coach will be in studio with us.
All right.
So, what do you want to hear from the top Jag going into this one?
I want to hear from him how you go about handling the week after a game like what you had this past Sunday. I mean, really. I mean,
because he's had success after games like this.
Look, and look, he's an excellent coach, and you want to make sure that you leave that nasty taste in everybody's mouth, but at the same token, you can't keep, beating a man down, right?
You got 8 more games to go.
Yeah, you kind of got at some point you got to turn the page and say, okay, let's go. Okay, here's what we did bad, and here's how we got to correct it. Now let's go. Let's not just sit here and waller in the muck.
Waller with an R.
Yes.
Waller.
Waller.
Well, then.
You don't want to waller in them.
No, you certainly do not want to waller in that. We're back in a moment. The Doug Pederson Show is after this. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Happy Hour.
Welcome to the Doug Pederson Show. Brought to you by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick and former Jaguar Jeff Lageman discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Doug Pederson Show starts right now.
And the Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida from the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. It's Week 11. The Titans-Jaguars game is delivered by CSX. How tomorrow moves. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and head coach Doug Pederson. I think you're just ready to move forward to this Titans-Jaguars game after last week. Big stretch ahead, but just to move past what happened last week and finally move forward as a team. How have you seen the response this week? Because in the past, the last two kind of blowout losses last year, this year, there's been really good response from your team.
Yeah, you're right. I am ready to move on. I think the team's ready to move on, move past last weekend. It was just kind of a mess overall. The team has responded extremely well, and they're disappointed, and they should be, and they're embarrassed, and they should be. And I made my disappointment felt with the team, earlier in the week, and I think it's good, but I think it's good too to move on and focus on this week. We got a big AFC South opponent. Tennessee's coming into town, and a good football team, even though their record doesn't show that. We always know this is going to be a battle, and it's going to be a 60-minute game. So, good week so far, and we just got to keep that rolling.
Oh, you've been in the player's chair before, and that anger kind of carries you through the week because you can't get the bad taste out until you play a game.
Exactly right, and you keep hearing, just how maybe not good you are and how poor you played, and I can't do this and we can't do that, and so for 6 days or so, that's what we're listening to, right? And so it's different than playing basketball or baseball where you can turn around and play a game the next night, right? So we got to live with it, and we've got to own it. We've got to take advantage of this opportunity this week and just learn from the mistakes and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I don't remember you ever having a list of mistakes on the podium during your press conference. That's what you did on Wednesday. You brought, let me turn it over and I'll read them out to you. And that's what it is. Self-inflicted mistakes from this Jags team. If you eliminated just half of them, you're in a lot of these games.
We are, and that's probably the biggest thing to me is the giveaways. I would say offensively, the turnovers that we're just coughing the football up, and it's uncharacteristic. We're putting the ball in harm's way. We've got to do a much better job, and obviously protecting it. Trevor in the pocket and receivers, down the field. I mean, we've had, I think, 2 weeks in a row we fumbled inside the 10-yard line. So we're just shooting ourselves. We're taking points, valuable points, off the board that keeps you in these games. They're going to be close anyway, but then you get behind the 8 ball, and it gets to be too hard for you.
Is there something that you can do as a coach to really bring that emphasis out? Because I know defensively, with Bob Sutton and Mike Caldwell, they constantly talk about it. They're texting their defense as a whole just to, hey, look, let's, ball awareness, taking it away. Can you do the same type of thing with the offense?
I think you can, but I think you got to be careful. Too much is probably too much, and really now you become enamored with maybe not doing your job, and you're focused more on there's some hesitation, right, and things. I've never really been the one. No, listen, we talk about it hard with our offense. Every week it's a point of emphasis that Press Taylor puts in front of our offense, right? Ball security, and we talk about the 5 points of pressure. We show clips from around the league. We show our own players, right? We show even some college games. You see the Washington play where the defensive D lineman drops it at the 1 yard line, things of that nature. And so we show our guys, and we're always putting our players in this position. We're asking our look teams to punch the ball out. We're asking our defense to punch the ball in practice. So we're making a conscious effort, obviously, but our guys just need to understand how precious the football is, and in order for us to be successful offensively, we got to make sure we take care of the ball.
I'm a big believer in that running the football and good offensive line play helps that out, doesn't it? Because it builds confidence and it takes pressure off of a lot of areas.
It does. It really does. And that's the momentum, I think, as an offense, right, that you can generate is through your offensive line and through that run game. It opens up so many more things. But, we didn't do it well enough, last weekend, and we gotta get that back on track.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us, and against the Titans defense. Let's start with this Tennessee Titans group, and it begins up front. And it usually does with that Titans defense. They kind of set the tone up there. What kind of matchup can you expect this week?
Yeah, we know who Jeffrey Simmons is. He's a tremendous player, and can give us fits, and he has. Even Arden Key, who we had last year, is there playing on the edge, and Danico Autry's there, and Landry, and I mean this is a really good defense. It's a little bit veteran group, but it's a really good aggressive group, and they're big and physical at the tackle spots, which our guards and centers are going to have to be on point. And then the back end is a good group, I would say. They've done some. They're not creating the takeaways I think that they would like to see, but at the same time, teams have been able to, kind of get after them just a little bit in the back end. But overall, this is a solid team, a solid defense. Their record may not indicate that. They've been in every game. And we always know that when you play Tennessee, you're gonna get their best, and we need to have our best on Sunday.
And watching the film on them, a solid group, but they don't get a lot of takeaways like you talked about, dead last in the league. But the one number that stands out from a statistics standpoint, their points allowed, they're 10th in the National Football League. Is that partly due to the fact that their offense hasn't been scoring a lot of points, so teams are maybe a little less aggressive with them?
You do see that a little bit on film, but I'll tell you this: when teams get in the red zone, Tennessee buckles down and keeps them out, and they've done a nice job down there, and so that's got to be and it's always a point of emphasis for us too, is when you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns and not just kick field goals all the time, but making sure that we take care of the football and not turn it over like we have inside the 10-yard line a couple times.
You bring up those numbers. I mean, the Titans second in the National Football League in red zone. Your offense 29th. That's a good matchup you bring up.
Yeah, I mean we've got to definitely improve, and we've got to get better. And I think the number one thing is just execution, right? Keep it simple. Running the ball in the red zone obviously helps that. And those are the things we've just got to get back to as a team and really commit to that. And that's kind of our identity. And, and then after that, it opens up your pass game out, as you go.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us. The Titans-Jaguars matchup is always a Derrick Henry game. So no different this time around. He's still putting up some numbers, and he's getting a little older in his career. But is he the same Derrick Henry as he was a few years ago?
I think he's still the same. You're right. He's not maybe putting up the same numbers. I know they've had some injuries up front with their offensive line, so it's, it's kind of maybe hurt him just a little bit there. But this is a big, powerful, downhill running back that when he gets rolling and they're clicking, it's hard. It's hard. Go back to that first game last year, in Tennessee. They got him going early and jumped out to that 14-7 lead last year in that first game. And, you're just kind of sitting there going, wow, we got to hold on because they get him rolling now. It's tough to stop. And especially with a young quarterback, that's what they want to lean on is that run game. And so our defense definitely has a challenge with Derrick Henry.
And they're rolling him in and out with a rookie running back. But the focus of a lot of attention has been on the rookie quarterback, Will Levis, and a pretty good wide receiver that he's thrown the ball to in DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly right. This you just watch and you put the film on and you see why he can have success with D-Hop down the field. I mean, he's always been able to get open. He always has been able to make great plays down the field, and obviously that's a weapon for Will Levis and the things that they want to do, and you're seeing some of the play action stuff, even some of the movement stuff, and scheming him open. And you go back to that first game that Will started or came in and played. He's putting the ball in a position for these guys to make plays, and he's athletic and can throw the ball well too. So, it could be a good 1-2 combination, much like in Pittsburgh with those two guys. And, we just got to make sure we know where D-Hop is at.
Of course, next week, Coach, Thanksgiving, we won't have a show next Thursday, unless you just want to do one. We can do one. No, I don't think so. So next week, you put yourself in contention, though, around Thanksgiving to make a run after Thanksgiving. This team's in first place, number 3 seed right down the AFC. That's the big picture look at it. But you still got to go week to week. But you're in a good spot as an organization, as a team right now, it feels like, right?
We are, and we control it, and we control our own destiny. But at the same time, we have to understand that, the teams that are chasing us, that was us last year. And go back. I mean, it's kind of like Tennessee was leading our division. We were 3-6, right, or 3-7, and made the run at the end. So, we can't we can't rest on where we are. We got to continue to push, but we got to continue to improve and be playing our best football. Once you get, obviously now, but through Thanksgiving and on to the rest of the year, that's a big part of us consistently winning year in and year out.
And I know that you guys want to play well at home. And, look, when you start talking about goals as a football team, the first one typically is right at the top of the list: win your games at home. Here's another opportunity. But
we're 1-3 at home, and it hasn't been so well. And I scratched my head trying to figure out why. I mean, I felt like the guys were really in a good place. Sunday and pregame was electric, and the guys were flying around. And maybe they were flying around too much, and just couldn't settle down and breathe and control their emotions a little bit. And those are things that, with young players, sometimes you gotta kind of back them off that ledge, I guess, so to speak. Teams that have obviously playoff success and want to have home playoff games, you got to take care of business at home, and you're in front of your fans. Great crowd, electric crowd. Expect a good crowd again on Sunday at 1, and we just got to go perform.
Salute to Service Games. Should be a fantastic matchup. The Titans and the Jaguars. Coach, good luck to you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Head coach Doug Pederson with us in about 20 minutes. Linebacker Foye Oluokun joins us. It's the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network. Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Jaguars fans, Everbank is building its future on the partnership and the performance you know and trust. Take advantage of high-yield savings solutions with money market, online savings, CDs, and more. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars today for your financial advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Football and Miller Lite. Duval's greatest pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going well past postgame. Sunday night overtimes. Followed by Monday morning pride. Knocking on bar tops for luck. Kicking back on any given Sunday. You never forget the way some things taste. Jags football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
If you're facing cancer, you want a dedicated team working for you. At Baptist MD Anderson Cancer Center, we only focus on cancer. And we partner with one of the largest cancer centers in the world. So you'll have a specialized treatment plan created by our experienced and highly trained oncologists and surgeons, collaborating with one of the country's leading cancer centers. Best of all, we're in North Florida with locations in downtown, Baptist South, and Clay. Appointments at baptistmdanderson.com.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. Proud to partner with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Eat like a Jag when you choose Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, our thanks to head coach Doug Pederson for joining us on the program each and every week. And it's
kind of interesting comment that he had there.
Which one?
I asked him about, because as a defensive player, you always preach takeaways and there's an awareness, and you talked about it constantly.
All the time.
And so you would think that as an offense, you would kind of do the same thing. But I thought it was interesting how he said that, there's a balance that you have to reach as an offense when you talk about that, because you don't want to make guys not be instinctive, I guess, would be the way to describe it. And you don't want them overthinking about, oh, my God, protect the ball, protect the ball.
Yeah,
protect
two
the ball,
hands on it, and all of a sudden you can't run anymore.
Yeah,
right?
you're like running down the field like, not naturally.
No.
But I thought that was interesting from that standpoint. But, I mean, clearly you can tell that he's bothered by that game.
Yeah, I'd say so. And he put on as good of a
happy face,
yes,
as he
could in this environment for that. But I would guess, and we know his personality is to always kind of be positive and normal, same old Doug. But the gears in his head had to be turning this week.
Yeah, you can tell that he's got a little edge to him after that game.
And I'm going to guess that the team probably heard some of that. Is my guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
you got to wake him up.
And when you have a head coach like him, and then you've got strong leadership, you're hearing it from other avenues. So there are a lot of teams, that you don't have to say anything, and sometimes when you can say too much, I think in that situation, because then you kind of get beaten down a little bit, and but sometimes the disappointment and pointing out the errors need to be reinforced, even though most of the players know, just so that they work hard to find the solutions.
Yeah, there's a lot of football left. Just the way they came out in the start of the game, it was just,
and that's so
strange, right?
So odd, because I love big game atmospheres, and
who doesn't?
It's amazing because you can literally you feel it. And in this game, I was up in the booth, and I went down to the field like I always do before the game, talked to some of the players, you talk to some of the coaches, and then we go back up into the booth, we do another hit, and then I went back down again. And typically I don't go back down again when the team is doing the team warm-ups. I'll be out there when the individuals are doing their stuff kind of before the formal warm-up. But I went down there for the formal warm-up just because when I was down there for the kind of pre-warm-up, you could feel it. And it was electric. You could feel the environment. You could feel that it was a big game atmosphere because, look, there were fans from both sides of the aisle. Of course, the 49ers fans were out there early, so when I was down there the first time, there were quite a bit of them in the field, and then later the Jaguar fans were piling in, and the players come out, and you can just feel the intensity, the big game moment. Some of the big media, the national media were there, and I had to go down there just to experience it, and it's an amazing feeling. So I thought, oh, here we go. This is going to be a big game. I don't know who's going to win. It's going to come down to the end. And then what happened was totally unexpected. And so a lot of people say, you can kind of feel they weren't ready or anything. No, I'm here to tell you, I was down there on the field before that game, and I thought this team was ready to go. I thought they had an intensity and a focus and excitement. And sometimes it's just how it is. Sometimes you can't get a pulse from a team by watching them in the pregame warm-up.
Then the game kicks off, and it's a football game, and things happen.
That's right.
Or they don't happen.
Well, one thing is very clear. The 49ers are one of the best teams in the National Football League. When they play their brand of football, they're hard to stop because they've got an excellent offensive style. They've got a quarterback who is efficient. He's been protecting the ball for the most part. And they've got some players at all three levels on defense, and they got a bunch of players up in that front level.
We'll come back in a moment and get into the Jaguars' offense and steps that could or should be taken to move it forward. And by forward, I mean down the field. We'll get your take on that when we come back. Jags fans want customized Jaguars furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair furniture for fans. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag the Fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Everyone wins when two great traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Our authentic guacamole recipe starts with hand-scooped avocados and ends up in your hands fresh and ready to enjoy. Grab some on game day at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan Nacho Carts around the stadium or at local retail stores. Sack your snack game with Yucatan Guacamole.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
Welcome back to the Doug Pederson Show, presented by Fresh from Florida. Food tastes better when it's grown closer to home. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. The Titans-Jaguars matchup is delivered by CSX. CSX, how tomorrow moves. Division matchup, AFC South. The Titans 3-6, the Jaguars 6-3. And a bounce back for the Jaguars offense would be very nice to see. And they've done it before under Doug Pederson. Since Doug became the head coach in 2022, the Jaguars, following a 10-plus point loss, are 3-0, and they've averaged 29 points per game in those three games. That includes the win at Tennessee last year, that they lost big in Detroit the year before, or the game before that. And Trevor Lawrence is the big reason why in those games, Logs. The quarterback play is huge. He's completing 75% of his passes the next week, nearly 300 yards per game the next week, and 7 touchdowns, no picks.
That's the big reason why. Yeah. The performance of the quarterback, and that's one of the reasons why they didn't play very well the other day. And he's got to have a bounce back game, and I expect him to. And the reason I kind of sit there and go, okay, look, this is not a gimme game, even though the Tennessee Titans are not what they used to be when they were winning back-to-back division titles, I think, in 20 and 21. You look at the wins that they've gotten this year, okay? They beat Cincinnati. Now, that was early, okay, and that's when Joe Burrow still hadn't quite found his rhythm yet. But they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Atlanta Falcons and scored, I think, like 28 points against the Atlanta Falcons. So there's a reason why they say in the NFL, any given Sunday. And you better be ready to play this week against a division opponent that last year in the last season of the game, they took you right to the very end. And I think it's going to be an exciting football game. And hopefully the Jaguars are able to make a rookie quarterback look as such, because they didn't earlier in the year.
We'll get to the defensive part of this coming up in just a little bit, Logs. Big topic this week is, how does the offense push it down the field a little bit more?
It's a great question.
How do they do that? Zay Jones has been in the injury report. Seems to be trending the right way. Could he be back? Is he 100% if he's back? Does that help Ridley, Kirk, Ingram, the whole deal? It's not just that, though.
No, it's not. It's not just that, but that will help. Yeah. Out of all the Jaguars receivers, okay, Ridley, Kirk, okay, Zay. I mean, Zay's kind of the guy that has got that vertical, we're going to stretch the field aspect to it. But here's the other thing. There were some plays that were there in the vertical passing game this past game. I mean, you think about the throw you had, I don't know if you remember this, it was a deep over by Christian Kirk, and they were going towards the south end zone, and Trevor throws it and really throws it to where there were about 3 49er defenders. It fell incomplete. On the right side, on a deep end, Calvin Ridley's wide open. So there's a vertical opportunity lost. But then also I think some of the play calling's got it. You got to stretch the field. The 49ers were jumping the short stuff in a big way.
Pretty much said as much going into the game, too.
And another reason why was because Trevor's clock was going fast. He was trying to get rid of the ball quick and sometimes not going through his progressions. And then also at times the offensive line didn't hold up, and Trevor didn't have time. So it's a combination of things. Personnel, getting Zay back, okay, play calling, having more of it, okay, protection up front, and then also slowing the mind down at the quarterback position and making the proper reads and adjustments.
Is this a Titans defense that this group can take advantage of?
Well, I think so, but one of the keys to this ball game is the performance of the interior 3 offensive linemen.
Okay.
Walker Little, okay, has got to play better than he did this past game. Okay. Sheriff's got to play a good game. And Fortner's got to play a better game than he did this past game. Tier Tart and Jeffrey Simmons are really good football players. I just showed you a play in a commercial break just a minute ago.
You did.
To where they sacked Baker Mayfield. And they absolutely dominated the inside of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line with a little TT game where one guy goes first, the other guy loops around. And it was absolute mayhem, and Baker ended up getting hammered, like driven into the turf.
Bedlam in the interior.
So that's the dominant part of the Titans' defense, and Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best. Big, strong, powerful guy that's good against the run and as a pass rusher. And then Harold Landry is a speed guy. Arden Key, we know him. He's a good, capable player. Danico Autry is a power rushing defensive end. He will give Anton Harrison all he can handle. So the offensive line has got to be better this week.
Let's come back in a moment. We'll get to that Jaguars defense and how they can affect the rookie quarterback, Will Levis. Oh, yeah, and the running game. Derrick Henry's still in this Titans team as well. That's next on the Doug Pederson Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com, Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
What's Bright Friday? It's the Black Friday event you won't want to miss. And it's happening now at your local Ford dealer. Brighten your holidays with great offers on a new Ford, like Ford F-150, the truck at the top of everyone's list. Ford Explorer, an SUV with room for all your presents and passengers. And if you want big holiday thrills, there's the Bronco Sport SUV. But hurry, Ford's Bright Friday event ends November 30th. See your local Ford dealer today.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And welcome back. It's the Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman from the Miller Electric Center in the Hyundai Studios ahead of the Titans-Jaguars matchup. And when you play the Tennessee Titans, it is Derrick Henry's show on offense. 13 career games against the Jaguars, 1,373 rushing yards, and 15 rushing touchdowns. It's the most rushing yards and rushing touchdowns by any player against the Jaguars all time. Priority number 1, 2, and 3. This guy, wearing number 22.
Yeah, he's an amazing specimen. When you look at it and think about it, that this guy ran for over 12,000 yards in high school. How many yards did he run for at Alabama?
A whole bunch. He won a Heisman. So.
Won a Heisman.
Yeah.
See if you can just how many yards anyway. Just out of curiosity. Because, I mean, you're talking
they
about –
split some time there.
You talk about mileage on the tires?
Yeah, he's been used a lot.
He's got some mileage on the tires to have over 12,000 rushing yards in high school. Okay, in his pro career, he is at 8,960.
He had, in 3 seasons at Bama, 3,500 yards.
Okay.
Almost 3,600 yards.
So looking at ballpark, so 89, 60, 12,000, that's over 20,000, 26,000 yards. This guy has rushed for in high school, college, and in the pros. And the way that he can handle and carry the load is impressive. Now, I said this a little bit earlier, and I'm gonna reemphasize it again. They're in a little bit of an identity crisis on offense. They're not sure what they want to be, because in the past it's been 2 or 3 tight ends on the field, Derrick Henry, and then play action off of Derrick Henry.
And kill you with tight ends.
Okay, a little different now. They do a little bit of that, and they got a couple good tight ends, not the tight end group that they've had in the past. Okay, and what they do is then they bring in Tajay Spears, a rookie out of Tulane, and then it's a little different change of pace. And they've been giving him some carries and taking a little bit of the load off of Derrick Henry. So it's different. But the reality is Derrick Henry is still the second leading rusher in the National Football League. If he had gotten or has been used as the typical Derrick Henry of the past, he would be the leading rusher hands down. And some people think he's slowing down. I've watched 2 games of Derrick Henry so far. I don't see it. And here's the other thing. When you got a marquee back and you've got a guy like Derrick Henry, the more carries he gets, the better he gets, in my opinion. And he's got one of the best stiff arms. Let's not forget that.
Oh, it's hard to forget that.
And we haven't mentioned that yet. One of the best, if not the best, stiff arms maybe in NFL history.
Yeah. That's not.
Can you think of anybody else that's had a better one?
Yeah, no.
I mean,
it's perfect. I mean, it's a perfect move.
Throwing guys
if
aside.
he can set it up and do it right, it's a perfect move. You can't stop it.
Gosh, who did he get?
He got a bunch of guys. He got
in Nashville a few years back, and he threw.
Well, he's had about 3 of those. He's had one of obviously the one on the long 99-yarder where he had about a couple of them.
Nobody wants to make the Derrick Henry highlight reel.
No.
Nobody.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's why, and I'll go back a few years, okay? Todd Wash, the former Jaguars defensive coordinator, they would have Derrick Henry tackling drills. And you have to have a tackling plan for him because he's big and powerful, and also because he has that stiff arm. They literally had Derrick Henry specific tackling drills. The only running back that I have ever known, you always talk about tackling plans with guys, but to have specific drills that are designed for a guy, I don't recall ever hearing that or seeing that in my NFL career as a broadcaster and as a player.
There are YouTube videos, I just pulled one up, of every Derrick Henry stiff arm in his career.
Nice.
And they have them all clipped together if you want to go to YouTube and check them out. Let's hope we don't add to it this week for the Jaguars-Titans matchup. Speaking of tackling plans, we'll hear from Foye Oluokun when we come back. Jaguars inside linebacker. He has a good idea how to approach it.
There's a term. It's called populate.
Haha.
That's how you stop Derrick Henry.
We'll see what Foye has to say about it when we come back. Jaguars linebacker around the corner. It's the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag the fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
The kick is up. It's good!
Score winning sub deals this Jaguars regular season at Firehouse Subs. Get 2 medium subs for just $10 after any game when the Jaguars kick a field goal of 40 yards or more. It's a bold deal for the bold city. Sign up at firehousesubs.com/field goals for Firehouse for offer details and to automatically receive this offer when you use your Firehouse Subs rewards account. Redeemable only at participating Jacksonville and Orlando area restaurants. Only available on the Firehouse Subs app and online ordering.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida, proud to partner with the Jaguars. Eat like a Jag when you choose Fresh from Florida. The Titans and the Jaguars coming up this Sunday at Everbank Stadium. And the game is delivered by CSX. And a big hand in this game this week for Jaguars inside linebacker Foye Oluokun, and yes, the entire front seven for the Jaguars. Certainly Foye is a guy that gets everybody on the same page, though, and they've got a big task this week against Derrick Henry and the running game for the Tennessee Titans. But the first question this week for Foye, how do they get past the losing result against San Fran?
Yeah, just definitely excited to go put a better brand of football on tape. That's what we got to do if we want to get to where we want to be at the end of the season.
You know, it's too early for must-wins. This is still a first-place team. It's 6-3 in the division, 3 seed right now, but it's a division game in mid-November. This is about as big as it gets without being a must-win, truly, right?
Right. Just in terms of division, kind of a double win if you win this game. Win on the record and in the division. So we know the implications of it, and we're going to get there knowing how important this game is.
You guys swept the Titans last year, but you know their brand of football, another physical team. So what do they bring to the matchup this time in terms of the offensive line? And you know the running game's always there with Derrick, right?
Yep, tough offensive line. They work well together, very athletic, get up to the second level well, definitely do their part in order to get in front of people, let Derrick run off of them. You know what kind of brand of football we have to bring to the game, so let's prepare for it.
Derrick's been here for a long time, or been in the league now for a long time, but still running at a high level. So we always ask about tackling plans for Derrick Henry. Has that changed over the years, or how do you approach tackling Derrick Henry?
I feel like it's the same tackling plan, get many hats to the ball, and really just put your body on the line. I know he's a big back, and it might hurt tomorrow, but, you know, if you get the guy on the ground for your team, that's what we're all about doing.
Got to get it early, though, right? Once he gets that head of steam, when he gets outside against the little guys, that can get dangerous, right?
Seems like you know the tackling plan. Yeah.
We've seen it a time or two around here. Rookie quarterback Will Levis. What have you seen on tape from him just 3 weeks into his career?
A lot of talent, good arm talent. If you give him time, he's going to be able to find an open guy downfield, can make all the throws. So, making sure we're, everybody wants to try to confuse a rookie quarterback when he gets back there, but really being in our right places and on our defense and then make plays on the ball when he throws it.
Final thought, with the 8 games to go, how does this team lock back in now and down the stretch finish this thing out and finish it the way you guys want?
Yeah, we got 8 one-game seasons, so let's focus on this game. I'll talk about the rest after this game, but let's focus on just winning this one game and like how we get back to getting on a roll by doing things one game at a time.
Appreciate the time, man. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
That's Foye Oluokun. We'll hold him to that. We'll ask him about that in each week leading up to what is coming up for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Back in a moment, Jeff Lageman rejoins me. You can get the full conversation coming soon with Foye Oluokun on Jaguars social media, the Crown Royal Water Break. More of the Doug Pederson Show after this on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gate's frequent shopper clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the My Gate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
What's Bright Friday? It's the Black Friday event you won't want to miss. And it's happening now at your local Ford dealer. Brighten your holidays with great offers on a new Ford, like Ford F-150, the truck at the top of everyone's list. Ford Explorer, an SUV with room for all your presents and passengers. And if you want big holiday thrills, there's the Bronco Sport SUV. But hurry, Ford's Bright Friday event ends November 30th. See your local Ford dealer today.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
As the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Publix is helping fans gear up for game day with the limited-time Jaguars sub. Piled high with hot deli chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, cheddar cheese, coleslaw, and barbecue mayonnaise on a white sub roll. The Jaguars sub is an easy, delicious meal for any fan. Make it an ultimate game day by ordering the Jaguars sub online for in-store pickup. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey, Jags fans. Everbank is driven by performance, strength, and security. Start building your legacy today with Everbank's Yield Pledge accounts, all of which deliver a yield in the top 5% of competitive accounts nationwide. Visit everbank.com/Jaguars for your earned advantage. Everbank, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
The Doug Pederson Show presented by Fresh from Florida ahead of the Titans-Jaguars matchup in Week 11 at Everbank Stadium. Salute to Service game coming up this week. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. Our thanks to Foye Oluokun in the locker room this week. Smart guy, went to Yale.
Intense.
Been at it for a while.
He's so intense.
He can be, yes.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. He's a very good player.
I think he's a
very good player.
He's a really good football player. What's impressive of how he plays the game is the motor that he plays with and how he just never seems to run out of gas. I mean, who can play 75, 80 plays in a ball game and have the stamina that he does, to where play number 75, you go to that, what was it, the New Orleans game? It was like 77 defensive plays.
Yeah.
And you watched him at the end of the ball game, and play 77 was like play 7. It's amazing to me. And I mean, it's a credit to him, because you have to manage your body to be able to do that every week in and week out. And it's just like making sure that that you're training the body right, you're having the right nutrition, getting the right rest, getting the right treatment. And Foye, ever since day one of him being signed here in free agency, has exceeded expectations in my book in every way, shape, and form. Great signing.
Yeah, and he had 7 career sacks going into last week's game. It's his first career 2-sack game last week against San Francisco. He's had a pick 6 this year as well. His first career touchdown. He didn't even have one in college, he said. He had last scored a touchdown in high school. So it had been a while for him to do that. So he's checking some things off the list, and currently 4th in the league in total tackles.
Yeah, he's a special player, and he is a fixture with this defense. And I think he's an integral part of this defense when they communicate, and he's a big part of that. And this defense is on the same page, but they got a little bit out of sorts this past game. This week, though, a little different. And the 49ers have more shifts in motion than any other team in the National Football League. This week, the Tennessee Titans have virtually none of that. They got a young quarterback, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Got a young quarterback, so you don't want to overly complicate things. And so this week, it's not as challenging from that standpoint defensively.
That's not something you can just like magically put in, especially with a young quarterback, right?
No, I think that's part of the offense.
Okay.
It's part of the offense. And Shanahan's offense is very simple in reality. The shifts in the motions are just all window dressings, and are making you adjust.
Making you declare what you're going to cover, too,
right.
sometimes.
And it helps declare for the quarterback to know what the coverage is going to be, because when you shift and move, and that's one of the reasons why the Jaguars have shifts and motions in their offense, and you'll see it more so a lot of times when they want to pass probably a little bit higher percentage, because it gives the quarterback a tell. Okay, what kind of coverage are they playing? And then when you have shifts and motions and they've got to adjust, it doesn't allow them to disguise as easily. So it's a little different. It can be a very valuable tool to have. The other thing I wanted to mention, just offensively real quick, to jump to the other side of the ball while we're talking about the Jaguars offense. Last week, Trevor and the offense talked about how they had a different and a variety of snap counts. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. How did the 49ers have such good get-offs this past game? In my opinion, they've got to, and Trevor's got to do a better job with the cadence to keep a defensive line off balance, especially when you're at home. Use the cadence to draw them off sides, to keep them guessing. You got to make sure that your guys aren't jumping, because sometimes that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's I think that's part of the natural progression with a young quarterback as he starts to move into the experience years, is that he's got to use the cadence to his advantage to keep a defensive front from really getting a beat on the snap.
I'm going to read some stats. I want you to tell me who the player is for the Jaguars. Okay?
Go ahead.
61 targets, 35 receptions, 471 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Calvin Ridley.
It is Calvin Ridley. His last touchdown was in London against Atlanta, the Falcons, at Wembley. And how do you get him more involved? Is he getting open? Is he? I know he's drawn a lot of pass interference. In fact, the most in the league this year of drawn defensive pass interferences that he's been targeted. Right, he's the number 1 player in that department in the league. However, at some point he's got to produce a little bit more. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I think the quarterback's got to find him more. I think the quarterback's got to play better. I think the offensive line's got to play better. The quarterback's got to trust him better. Calvin Ridley needs to do a better job getting off the line of scrimmage. I think it's a combination of things. It's not just one thing. And one of the things that's a little bit different, I'm sure, for Calvin Ridley this year, as in years past, Christian Kirk is the move guy. So Christian is in motion a lot. You can't have two guys in motion at the same time.
It's a penalty.
Okay? So one guy can do that. In Atlanta, Calvin Ridley was that guy that was in motion a little bit, and they could kind of take advantage of some situations like that. But that's not his role in this offense. That's Christian Kirk's role. So, in my opinion, number one, Trevor's got to get comfortable throwing him the ball with the separation that that Calvin gets. Because Calvin doesn't get great separation, but how many times have we seen him make ridiculous catches when the coverage has been pretty tight?
Sure.
So the quarterback has to say, okay, look, I trust him. I'm going to throw it because he's going to make the catch. And he's got to be able to make a good throw in a tight window and trust his guy. And I think some of that trust is still building, but sometimes a little bit of trust includes a little bit of faith.
Is that something you can change, the move guy? Can you motion him more
and
give him more of a different look off the line?
Yeah, you can. You can mix that up a little bit, and then I'm sure that they will try to do some of that to where you flip Christian, okay, put him on, allow Calvin Ridley to be off, and then go from there. But you just don't want to overly complicate it to where you start making mental errors just to get somebody else in motion.
Because we've seen it, right? I mean, we've seen it from different receivers, different players on the offense throughout, right? He had a couple false starts earlier in the year.
Because if you start doing what we're talking about and it gets a little bit too complicated, now you have those self-inflicted wounds like you're talking about, the false starts, maybe an illegal formation, and then now all of a sudden you're playing behind the sticks. And when you have penalties as an offense, that's very close or similar to, let's say, you get sacked. Okay, because it kind of has the same impact. It sets you back as an offense. And when you don't have a rhythm as an offense, everything becomes a little bit magnified. The mistakes become more magnified. And that's where this offense is at right now.
Back in a moment, our final thoughts ahead of this Titans-Jaguars matchup coming up at the Bank this Sunday. Coming up at the Bank this coming May, it's Luke Combs. 2 nights of the Growing Up and Getting Old Tour, May 3rd and 4th, 2024. Different special guests each night. Tickets on sale at everbankstadium.com. This is the Doug Pederson Show on Jaguars Radio.
Eat like a Jag, the fresh from Florida way. Hi everyone, I'm Chef Justin. Head over to freshfromflorida.com and sign up for our loyalty club to unlock interactive perks available only to club members. It's all the great stuff you've loved about freshfromflorida.com and more. For club members, it's an interactive experience that will help you get the most out of your Fresh from Florida recipes. Enjoy all the benefits of being a member. Join the Fresh from Florida Club today.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Everyone wins when 2 great traditions team up. Yucatan Guacamole is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Our authentic guacamole recipe starts with hand-scooped avocados and ends up in your hands fresh and ready to enjoy. Grab some on game day at the Yucatan Cantina or Yucatan nacho carts around the stadium or at local retail stores. Sack your snack game with Yucatan Guacamole.
Your hometown gate now has more ways to save. Introducing My Gate Rewards, a new loyalty program with member-exclusive savings and fuel discounts. Earn points on in-store purchases, take advantage of special offers, and save on products you love. Score free coffee, fountain drinks, pizza, and soft serve with Gates Frequent Shopper Clubs. Then use your points on savings at the pump. Download the MyGate Rewards app in the App Store today or ask a store associate for more information. Go from good to Gate.
Calling all junior fire chiefs. Parents, register for your child to win the ultimate Jaguars game day experience. Cheering on the Jags from the brand new Firehouse Subs fire truck at Everbank Stadium, flashing the fire truck lights when the Jags score. As honorary junior fire chief of the game, your child will receive a Firehouse Subs gift, and the whole family will receive 4 tickets and a parking pass to a home game this season. Visit jaguars.com/sweepstakes to enter to win today. See website for terms and conditions.
Are you ready to elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans? Citrus Distillers, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is excited to announce the 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Now available at Total Wine and other participating retailers. Elevate your tailgate experience, Jaguars fans. The 2023 Jaguars Limited Edition Whiskey Bottle. Duval!
Welcome back. The Doug Pederson Show continues right now.
And welcome back. It is the Doug Pederson Show. Final thoughts ahead of this Titans-Jaguars matchup at the bank. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. Our conversation about snap count and cadence from the quarterback got me to thinking. There's the comedian named George Wallace. I be thinking. That's his thing. And I be thinking about what kind of penalties the Jaguars have this year.
What'd you learn?
They have the second fewest overall penalties in the league this year.
Correct.
So overall, that's a pretty good number.
Yes.
However, the Jaguars are guilty of 15 false start penalties this year. That is tied for the 4th most in the league.
Oof.
18's the number one number, 16, and then 15. They've had 6 of those at home. No, 8 of those at home, 7 of those away.
Whew.
So that tells you something. Something's going on. The pre-snap stuff, that's the self-inflicted wounds you're talking about.
Yes, it is.
Those that have disappeared.
Been too many of those, and that's got to get cleaned up. And because when an offense struggles, if you get behind the sticks, it gets to be really difficult. Really difficult. And it's part of the other thing, too. Look at the Jaguars' rushing average, okay? Rushing average on the year, okay? Mm-hmm. We're going to compare this to the Tennessee Titans. ETN, 3.9. Okay, Derrick Henry, 4.2. The Titans as a team, 4.3. The Jaguars as a team, 3.8. That's another thing that takes pressure off of the offense when you talk about down and distance. And right now the Jaguars aren't running the ball with great authority. If you look at some of the best games that ETN has, if you look, I went and looked this up. There's 3 games that ETN has over 4 yards per carry. Okay, at Indy, win. Buffalo, win. Okay, Buffalo was a season high, 5.2. Okay, the only other one that he had over 4.0 that they lost was the Houston game. I mean, that's so part of that magic formula is limit the self-inflicted wounds, make sure that you don't take negative plays, but then also having some rushing plays that are impactful and allowing to take pressure off of play calling in the ensuing downs.
Seems like a simple formula.
It's been tried and true for a long period of time.
All Access tonight. Who you got?
Christian Kirk,
wide receiver.
Stevens.
Yes.
At Strings. And I think I'm going to get me a sandwich before the show.
Enjoy. They have great food there as
they
well.
Do.
The Titans-Jaguars game delivered by CSX. How tomorrow moves. For Jeff Lageman, Brent Reber, Joe Fortunato, our entire crew, I'm JP Shadrick. Thank you for listening to the Doug Pederson Show on the